The rain was a cold, needles-on-skin downpour when Elias first saw the bus. It materialized from the storm like a ghost, its headlights cutting through the sheets of water. There was no number on its front, just a flickering sign that read "Final Stop." He was soaked, freezing, and desperate. Without a second thought, he clambered aboard, eager to escape the biting night. The doors hissed shut behind him, but it sounded less like hydraulics and more like a dying gasp. A wave of putrid air washed over him, a grotesque cocktail of formaldehyde, wet earth, and something sickeningly sweet and metallic. Blood. The interior was bathed in a sickly, pulsating red light, the kind that makes your stomach churn. He looked around. The few other passengers were just motionless silhouettes, their features obscured by the strange, pulsing gloom. Elias stumbled toward an empty seat in the middle, his heart hammering against his ribs like a trapped bird. He sat down, the worn vinyl cold against his damp clothes. He risked a glance at the man sitting across the aisle. The man was impeccably dressed in a tuxedo, but his skin was a waxy, translucent film, clinging to his skull like shrink wrap. His eyes weren't just closed, they were completely gone, replaced by hollow, black pits that wept a thick, oily fluid down his sunken cheeks. Elias quickly looked away, his own breath catching in his throat. He tried to distract himself by looking out the window, trying to figure out where they were going, but there was no road, no city lights, no familiar landmark. Outside was just a swirling vortex of gray ash, and within the storm, he could see screaming faces, their mouths agape, in silent agony, pressing against the glass from the outside, their phantom hands clawing, trying to get in. Panic surged through him. He jumped to his feet, determined to confront the driver, to demand to be let off this nightmarish ride. But as he took a step, he felt something strange under his boots. The floor wasn't solid metal, it was soft and yielding. He dared to look down. The floor was covered in a thick, matted layer of human hair and teeth, which crunched and splintered with every step he took. He suppressed a gag and pushed forward, his focus solely on the driver's cabin. He reached the front of the bus. The driver was a towering figure hunched over the wheel, shrouded in a tattered yellow raincoat. Elias reached out a trembling hand and tapped his shoulder. The driver's head didn't just turn, it snapped upward with a wet crack, dangling by a few thin, stretched tendons. The driver had no jaw. His tongue, blackened and rotting, hung down to his chest. He didn't speak with a mouth, but a voice vibrated directly inside Elias's brain, cold and ancient. The driver pointed a skeletal finger at a metal box on the dashboard. It wasn't for coins or ticket. Inside, nestled on a bed of velvet, were fresh, glistening, and still beating human heart. The voice in his head resonated again, a chilling command. You boarded without a fare. We take the payment in installments. Starting with your voice. Elias opened his mouth to scream, to protest, to beg, but no sound came out. A sharp, searing pain tore through his throat, as if invisible hooks were being dragged through his flesh, ripping his vocal cords away. He clutched his neck, gasping silently. He looked back at the other passengers. They were all standing now, their once still forms lurching toward him. The man with the hollow eyes, a woman whose neck was twisted completely backward. They all moved with an unnatural, joint-cracking gait. The woman reached him first. She opened her mouth, stretching it unnaturally wide, and from the depths of her throat, Elias saw a glowing mist vibrating. It was his voice, his stolen scream. She whispered to him, but it was his own voice that echoed back. "Don't worry, there are plenty of seats left in the engine room. We always need more fuel." Suddenly, the floor beneath him gave way, opening like a giant tooth-lined maw. As Elias fell into the darkness of the bus's churning machinery, the last thing he saw was the flickering sign above the windshield. It no longer read "Final Stop," now illuminated in a fresh, bright red. It read, "Your turn."